Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little cook with me video. I don't normally do these, but I get asked to do them all the time, so I just thought I would show you how I make tonight's dinner. Tonight we're going to be having a veggie curry, so I'm going to show you how I make it and the finished results. So first up, I take some of my frozen chopped onions and I put them in a pan with some fry light. Then I have taken my frozen cauliflower and I'm putting it in the microwave to defrost it before I begin. And I'm using this korma sauce from Aldi to make my curry today. Now the secret to a good curry is to let your onions catch so they get a good bit of colour, and that adds flavour to your curry. So that is what I've done to start with. Then I've taken this bag of sweet potato and butternut squash. It happens to be from M&S. I don't normally shop there, but we were passing today, so I just picked it up for my curry. And I used about half of the bag and popped it in with the onions. I then took a can of chickpeas and I added about half of the can in with the butternut squash and sweet potato and onions. It's getting a bit steamy. Then I added the spice section of my jar of korma sauce and I added that in with all the veggies and gave it a good stir around. And then once my cauliflower was cooked in the microwave, well, defrosted, I chopped it up with some scissors to make it small, and then I popped it in with the other veggies and coated that in the spices. I only used about half of what I'd prepared of the cauliflower. And this is it all coated in the spices, and I'm about to add the jar of korma sauce. And a little tip I have to get all the sauce out the jar is to boil the kettle and add it to the jar with all the sauce that's left stuck to the jar, and then you put the lid on really tightly, give it a good shake, and the water will sort of dissolve off the last of the sauce, and then you can pour it in and you're getting every last bit of this sauce out of your jar. So then I've just added the lid and I'm going to leave this to simmer. And while that is simmering away, I'm going to take the leftover veggies. I've got half a tin of chickpeas, half my bag of sweet potato and butternut squash, and also half of that cauliflower that I defrosted. So I'm about to pop that all into a bag, and I can use that for another dish, either another curry or I can use it as the base for some kind of stew. So I'm putting that all inside a sandwich bag, and I will keep that in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. So next up I'm going to start preparing my naan bread to go with the curry, and what I like to do for that is to use a pizza slice to cut it up, because I find that's the easiest way to cut up the naan bread. And I actually heat mine up in the toaster because it warms it through really well and it leaves a nice crispy sort of outside but still nice and soft in the middle, and that's how we really like it. So yeah, it's really quick and easy when you're making dinner, and it means that you don't have to heat up the oven for just the naan bread if you're not going to be using the oven for anything else. So I've just checked on my curry and it's simmering away nicely, so I'm just going to add a few extras. I'm adding a little bit of single cream just because I happen to have some in the fridge and I thought it would just add a little bit of extra creaminess. Obviously you don't need to add that. And I'm adding a little bit of garlic puree. Again, you don't need to add it, but I think it just adds a bit to the flavour, and also a good sprinkling of salt. And this is how it's currently looking. As you can see, the sauce is quite thin and it has lots of chunks of vegetables in it, so I'm going to show you what I do to kind of rectify that in just a moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop some naan bread into the toaster and get that warming through. So back to my curry, and what I'm going to do is take my hand blender and I'm just going to give it a couple of pulses, not much at all. I don't want to puree this, I don't want to turn it into a soup. What I want to do is just blitz some of the vegetables to sort of thicken the sauce so that it becomes a bit thicker and more substantial, I suppose, the sauce. And then I still want to have some big kind of chunky vegetable bits, just some sort of meatier bits to bite into when we're eating the curry, so it doesn't become like a baby puree. So as you can see, it's thicker now that the vegetables have been blitzed a tiny bit, but there's still lots of big chunks, which is what I want. So now the naan breads have popped in the toaster, I've used some tongs to lift them out because they're very hot. And then I use the pizza slice just to cut it into strips, and then I'll put it into a plate in the middle of the table and everyone can help themselves, and it just is a bit easier for the kids than having great big massive pieces of naan bread to deal with. So this is the finished veggie curry dished up. I've done it with wholemeal rice that was just a microwave packet that went in the micro, and this is the curry. Elle has the same, and I've just cut up some naan bread for the middle of the table. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more cook with me videos, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!